Hey, we're live. We are completely live. Let me post the live on Twitter just so people can, come and watch it. That follow me on Twitter. That's what I'm going to do real quick. That was weird. Jackson Smith. What's up, Jackson? Nice of you to join. Really appreciate you. All right. The Twitter post is made, so people that do that, let me do something in the chat real quick. Spelled that miserably wrong. How do you spell California? I think I might just be dumb. Okay. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Let me plug my phone back in. All right, there we go. We are all set. In case you can't read the comment I just put, so I'm not really expecting any super chats from anybody today. I've only got 262 subscribers, still growing really fast. But I want this off my screen. I did not mean to do that. But if anybody does decide to donate through super chat, which there we go. Sorry, it's a new MacBook. I normally don't do this on my MacBook. I'm trying to figure it out. If anybody does decide to donate through Super Chat, all the donations will go to the people in California, because I noticed that I'm having a great year so far. People in California are not. And so I would really like to donate. So whatever you guys put in the Super Chats, if you have a question or anything, I would definitely answer that. I don't expect a whole lot of people to answer, so you don't really have to do a Super Chat as well to send to get your question answered. But if you do have a question and you want to donate as well, the donations will go to California. I just got a message really quick. I figured I knew who it was. All right. So, by the title of the video, ranking every movie that I have seen in 2024. Not every movie I've seen, but every movie that has been released in 2024. I've seen 76 movies. I have not seen every movie I wanted to see in 2024, obviously, because I just don't have that kind of time. But I have seen 76 movies. And so we're going to rank them all today. If you have questions, I think after like either every 10 or every 15, I will answer any questions you have in the comments. Keep it movie related, maybe even sports related at times. Some of these I'm going to fly through because I've talked about them in numerous videos on the channel. Some of them I'm going to keep talking about because I haven't talked about them that often. Obviously, my voice is a little bit rough. I haven't been feeling good the last couple of days, but got my Propel, and we are going to have a fun time. And if you're watching, you can tell me what is your ranking as well, and just keeping up with the pace of every movie you have seen. All right. I think that really about does it. We're going to go ahead and start with the ranking of 76 movies. I have not uploaded my best or worst movies of 2024, so nobody knows what my bottom 10, top 10, and that's not even going to be what the video is going to be about. So let's dive right in here with, I wish I could get these ads off my screen, but there we go. There we go. I got the ads off my Letterboxd screen. I am using Letterboxd for my list. But let's dive right in with the bottom 10 movies of 2024. And the first one, or number 76 rather, is going to be Drive Away Dolls. And this is my least favorite movie of 2024. I went to see it while I was in Florida in February, just kind of taking a day to go see a movie. Horrible, horrible stuff. Very, very awkward movie. If you don't know what the premise of this movie is, it's two lesbians going on a road trip, and like something comes up, and it's kind of like this mixture. It's by one of the Coen brothers, and one of the Coen brothers make some very good comedies. So I was expecting at least something from this movie, and what I got was just this unfunny, boring film that is just filled with lesbian sex scenes that, for me, 18 or 19 now, but 18 at the time year old male, I don't really want to see that when I go see a film. And so it was just unfunny. Margaret Qualley is later on in this list, but she's phenomenal in the movie that I'm going to talk about later in this list. She's not very good in here just because it just kind of felt like a simple cash grab. It wasn't funny. It wasn't entertaining whatsoever. The whole mystery of what's in the briefcase, they open it up and it's a bunch of dildos, which, I mean, it's unique, but it's not funny, or it doesn't work for me whatsoever. So, yeah, I just really didn't like this movie. And it also, like, the editing as well. There were several sequences where they just kind of like put these dreamlike sequences in here that made no sense to the rest of the movie. And they just put them in this film just because they couldn't they couldn't add to the runtime. This movie's not even 90 minutes. It's an hour and 20 something minutes. And they needed to add to the runtime. So they just add on these ridiculous dreamlike sequences that make no sense. So this was just one movie that I left the theater like, okay, I don't ever want to watch this again. Okay, that was incredibly awkward to watch in a theater. Okay, that movie was not good whatsoever. And even though there are other movies that are more memorable than this one, this is just the one movie out of my bottom 10 that I would never, ever, ever, ever want to rewatch. And that's why it's my least favorite movie of 2024. 75. Sorry, my throat hurts a little bit. 75, let's go Imaginary. This is a horror film. Well, I'm not really going to call it scary. It's the Blumhouse PG-13 bullcrap that they always put out. And I feel like the first two acts were just typical Blumhouse nonsense, not entertaining whatsoever. We've seen movies like that before. And then the third act, right when it's supposed to start getting entertaining or start to have like that uniqueness, I just kind of felt like it was boring because it was directed in such a drab way. Who directed this film? I want to know who directed this film, but give me 1 second. Because whoever directed this film does not have what the kids say these days, the sauce whatsoever. Hold on 1 second. Scrolling all the way down on my list of 76 movies, find out who directed Imaginary. Jeff Wadlow, that's right. He directed Truth or Dare, which is a movie I do enjoy. Kick Ass 2, which is a movie I haven't seen, but I do like the first one. And he directed Fantasy Island from 2020. So this is just a director that just doesn't have the sauce. He made the third act, which should be imaginary, should be interesting. He made it really boring. And this is just a movie that I kind of left like, okay, that just kind of pissed me off. I don't ever want to watch a movie like that again. And typical horror movies like that tend to piss me off. And I really did not vibe with Imaginary. All right, let's go back to edit. I really wish I was feeling good, you know? I really do. Because, like, it's starting to hurt my voice a little bit. Scroll all the way back down. 74. Before I say 74. All right, we're back. Sorry, I just had to blow my nose. Figured you guys didn't want to see that. No, Jeffrey Miller, thank you for tuning into the stream. I am not really feeling that great, but I had to do the stream today because this weekend the NFL playoffs start, and I don't really want to stream while I'm doing that. And then tomorrow I got to work a double at my job, so I don't really have time to do it tomorrow. And then next week, I feel like it would just be too late for that. So I've been sick this past week, but I'm toughing it out. So to do this list, and I feel better than I have, but just I think I'm losing my voice a little bit. 74 on this list. So my third worst movie of the year would be The Crow from 2024. Going to kind of speed through this because I just uploaded my comic book films of 2024 ranking. So go check that video out if you get the time. The Crow, not good at all. It takes Eric Draven, which is Brandon Lee's character. Brandon Lee, who got shot and killed on the set of making the original Crow. They make his character and then don't do anything with the film. Like it tries to focus on the love story between these two characters that you just don't care about whatsoever. You can't care about these characters because the only thing to make it seem like they love each other is, hey baby, if I killed myself, would you kill yourself too? Baby, I'm thinking of jumping off this bridge. If I jump, would you jump? That's not how you convey love. That's just two suicidal people talking about each other, saying that they're going to kill themselves. Like what? And he doesn't say the way they left the prison at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, they just kind of opened a window and left. What? It makes no sense. I will give the movie that the opera house sequence was really good. Like if the whole movie was that, I'd say it would be a good movie. But because everything up to that made no sense and was insanely boring, I can't like this movie. So even though the opera house sequence was cool, the rest of the movie not good whatsoever. Number 73, a huge disappointing movie, Maxine. I wanted to like this movie so much. I saw X first time this year and I thought it was pretty good film. I got a message. Let me check that real quick. Okay, so I just got a message. My super chat is off. Give me 1 second. How can I? So because I'm wanting to get some super chats. Hold on just a second, guys. Sorry. So I don't know how to turn super chats on, apparently. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry again. So I have no idea how to turn super chats on. Okay, that's sweet. I guess we're not doing super chats today because I should have figured. What's this do? Oh well, if anyone watching the stream knows how to turn super chats on, just let me know how to do it because I can't figure it out. Anyways, let's talk about Maxine. Saw X earlier this year, and I liked it actually quite a bit. I thought it was a very good movie. I didn't think like we needed to see a bunch of old people having sex, but besides that, it was just a nice throwback slasher. I liked the trailers for this one. Kind of excited to see it. So I missed out on it in the theater. I saw it at home, and boy, oh boy, this was just a big nothing burger. It felt like nothing happened in this movie. Like the first, I don't know, hour of the movie was just Maxine living her day-to-day life, and then randomly every now and then like the killer just pops up and kills somebody. And like the main plot, what actually kicks it into action is like this whole Kevin Bacon side plot, which Kevin Bacon's good in the movie, but the side plot made no sense. Like why are we doing this? Like it really made no sense to why that's the main plot when there's like an actual killer out there. And then the reveal of the father being the killer was just so obvious, yet made no sense because like you didn't meet the father ever, and so you really couldn't have guessed that he was the killer, and so it just didn't work in that aspect whatsoever. And then the whole third act was just goofy, where like it completely kind of just erases all seriousness. Like you got the cops running around like complete morons, and it just was a movie that I was like, oh my god. Like this is just not good whatsoever, and it's very disappointing because I really did want to watch this. I really did want to like this movie, but it's another disappointing movie in 2024. That's why it's 73. 72, Lisa Frankenstein. It feels weird that we've been streaming for 20 minutes and haven't even got out of the bottom 10. So we're going to kind of speed through this a little bit. What are we at? Number 70, 72, Lisa Frankenstein. Now, I get a lot of hate for loving Your Monster and hating Lisa Frankenstein, which doesn't make sense to me because I found the first act of this movie to be boring. When it got to the horror stuff, started to be interesting, but it also kind of felt dark in a way that made you just like, okay, I feel dirty inside. Ew. I didn't like that whatsoever. Like normally I like movies like this, but I think why I didn't like this movie is because when all the messed up stuff happens, when you get the mom who was a dick to Lisa Frankenstein, but the only character you liked in the movie was a sister. And so you see the sister getting torn up about the mother dying, which is completely horrible. Like we're not supposed to root for Lisa because you don't like her character either. Or at least I didn't like her character. She was just awkward and weird. And I felt like the sister was just really, really nice. And like you're just kind of seeing Lisa be kind of a dick to her. And it just one of those movies that like had potential, but then I didn't really think it would be for me anyways. But then when we got to the middle of the film, it was just kind of like, oh, okay. Okay. I feel dirty inside, especially at the end of the film. I was like, okay, I don't ever want to feel that way after watching a movie again. Number 71, Kung Fu Panda 4. I know it's weird to put a Kung Fu Panda movie at the bottom of a list. It's a simple cash grab. The first three movies make up a really, really good and really, really entertaining trilogy. The bottom of the barrel, they're scraping with Kung Fu Panda 4. Like, they recycle plot lines from Kung Fu Panda 2 and Kung Fu Panda 3 and recycle a villain from Kung Fu Panda 1. It's just kind of this mediocre kids movie that can be entertaining at times. But the thing where I really struggle with it is the third act where you finally get the fight and the stuff with Tai Lung. It just makes no sense because Aquafina's character defeats the bad guy. She's obviously going to be the new Dragon Warrior or whatever. And Tai Lung walks up to Kung Fu Panda and says, hey, you're not that bad. After all, you're a pretty good fighter. He didn't do anything that entire fight. Like, not a single thing. He got destroyed and Aquafina beat him up. So he didn't do anything. So very clearly, they had no interest in writing a good script. They just wanted to put out this movie for a cash grab, and I think DreamWorks even admitted that. And they are apparently making Kung Fu Panda 5, I think. So it was really weird because the other DreamWorks movies that came out this year are much higher on the list. We still got a couple more movies in the bottom 10. Yeah, we still got a few. Number 70, Babes, and I feel really bad putting this one in the bottom of my 2024 list, um, just because it seemed like when I saw this at a Marcus Mystery screening, everyone in my theater loved it. It seemed like this is a movie for some people. I'm not that people. I'm really, really not that people. I really didn't vibe with this movie that much because at the time, I was an 18-year-old male. I'm now a 19-year-old male who's never had a girlfriend. I don't have anyone pregnant, and I'll never get pregnant. So the humor in this movie doesn't work that much for me. It was very awkward that I saw this movie with my mom, and like you see some things very awkward. So there was barely a moment I laughed at. And the real problem in this movie was there seemed like a time where the movie had 20 minutes left and it still had another hour left. So it was just kind of dragging on as well. So this was just one of my most awkward theater experiences of my life, and just a movie I didn't enjoy whatsoever. And so I feel bad for putting it this low because there are people that are really loving this movie. It just really wasn't for me. Number 69, Time Cut. Time Cut. That is the Netflix original film that is kind of like Totally Killer, but like without all the fun, which is weird because this movie exactly was being made before Totally Killer. But Totally Killer was just this really fun slasher movie with characters that you really like and just this fun vibe to it. This movie's like that, has all the same plot beats, but without the characters you like and without the fun moments and a horrible script that constantly characters are making wrong decisions that make no sense. The kills aren't engaging whatsoever. It's just overall a boring experience. And when you have a movie like this and then you have Totally Killer, what would I rather watch? I just felt like watching Totally Killer after this movie because that was a movie that I did have a ton of fun with. This is a movie that I was just insanely bored with, and it didn't work for me whatsoever. Two more in my bottom 10. Number 68, The Kitchen. This breaks my heart to put it here because this was the directorial debut by Daniel Kaluuya. And there was some interesting things about this movie. It felt like there was three movies in one, where at the beginning of the movie, it's this story, this different story. I honestly saw this at the very beginning of last year. I can't really remember the story in the beginning, but I do remember the middle act was about this relationship between our lead two characters. And then the third act was like all the stuff that you actually wanted. And then it kind of left off at a part where this whole entire movie kind of felt like it was the middle movie of a trilogy. Very weird. Very weird movie that it's just separated in three parts. Nothing feels connected. And then by the end of the movie, it feels like, hey, we still have another movie to go, and we should have had a first movie, but it is the only movie we've got of The Kitchen, kind of left at a middle part. So I think if we get a trilogy, if we get another movie, I would be interested in it. But there is issues you got to fix in here, and this is just a movie that I just kind of felt like, and I don't really think it's a movie that deserves to be on a bottom 10 list. It's just a movie that like I constantly forget about and would never watch it again. And the final movie on my bottom 10 of 2024, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Breaks my heart to put this one here because I really, really wanted to see it. I do like Guy Ritchie. I love the cast in here. Henry Cavill, Alan Rickman. This movie just didn't work for me whatsoever. I found when they were killing Nazis, it was entertaining. But besides that aspect, it just really doesn't work for me because like the script doesn't really work. They constantly try to take us away from the only reason I wanted to see this movie, which was Henry Cavill and Alan Rickman. The only reason I was invested in this movie. And they were constantly darting to these other characters you didn't really care about. And then by the end of the movie, it feels like the first 30 minutes of a movie. Like genuinely, it feels like the whole movie is just setting up the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and then it ends. So it feels like we still got more left. It's not that entertaining except when they're killing Nazis. It had potential to be a really great movie, and it's just not. And that rounds out my bottom 10 of 2024. Let's get some questions rolling. If anybody's got any questions for me, movie and sports related. stupid bell. And while I'm waiting for some questions to roll in, I'm going to actually see if I can do the super chats. Let me try something on my phone. Another viewer, so questions, if anybody's got any questions. I don't think. Slug MLG, hi. How's it going, Slug? Thanks for joining. Really appreciate you here, man. I'm actually switching my account to my second channel's account so I can see if super chats are on. So I am. Let's see if super chats are on. So my super chats aren't on, okay. Let me see if I can fix this from my phone. Speaking of my second channel, I do have a second channel, Moore's EMC. Would really appreciate if you guys want to subscribe. I mainly do movie content or sports content. I mean, okay, I don't think I can do it on my phone. And yeah, I do see you guys put questions out. I will answer them in just a second. Maybe I can't do super chats. I figured I could do super chats at any time, but maybe I can't because I'm not that big of a YouTuber. Speaking of that, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Help me get to a bigger YouTuber. So I'm about to start answering some questions. Okay. Jackson Smith, what is your favorite sport to do on KFMO? Jackson Smith, I work with him, so he knows I work at a radio station called KFMO. I do high school sports. My favorite sport to do, it's weird because my favorite sport of all time is football. I'd say my favorite sport to do is baseball, honestly, because last year I did playoff games for a high school that lives near me. And so I did every playoff game until their final where they like went far away from me and I just didn't get to go there. So I found baseball to be really entertaining. So baseball is not my favorite sport whatsoever. And so it was really weird that I found baseball to be my favorite one to commentate on KFMO because for football, it takes a lot. There's a lot of stuff you got to do for football. For basketball, I do like basketball, but like I'm not very knowledgeable about basketball. So what I do, I'm just not as great at. So I'd say baseball would be my favorite one. You should rank all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. Okay. I was gonna do a ranking last year when Mutant Mayhem came out, but I don't know when the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comes out. So I'll just do a quick ranking here for you, MLG. Some of them I haven't seen. Wait, I think I have. I actually already think I do have one on my letterbox. Let me look real quick. Mutant Mayhem 2 comes out in 2026. That's what I thought. So I probably will have a longer ranking next year, but I also haven't seen a lot of them already. So let me try to find my TMNT ranking on Letterboxd real quick for you, man. I do have a letterbox. It's Zach Movie Chat, capital Y, capital T. Go follow if you got letterbox. Really appreciate it. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to dig deep on the lists to find my TMNT ranking. Scooby Doo, Saw. There we go. I found it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. There we go. Here's my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ranking. So number 8, Rise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or Rise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I just thought this movie was just kind of like a generic Nickelodeon movie, just typically what it was. TMNT, very disappointed by this film. I just didn't find it to be great at all. I thought it was mid. Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, obviously, it's just another one of those animated Batman films that I do enjoy, but it was just another one of those. TMNT, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Out of the Shadows. I really like these two live action ones. I do think this one is significantly worse than the first one, but I do still find that it is a good enough time. What's this one? The Secret of the Ooze. Kind of just a replica of the original. Don't really remember this one as much as I do this one. But speaking of the original Teen Mutant Ninja Turtles, that's number 3. I think I'd move Mutant Mayhem behind here after rewatching. I didn't enjoy it as much on rewatch, so I put it behind here. But Teen Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original, just a fun original Teen Mutant Ninja Turtles movies that I really do enjoy. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let's talk about Mutant Mayhem. I did really enjoy this film. Still really do. I find that the voice cast is great, but there are definitely some cringe moments, and it doesn't work as much as it did in the theater. And then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014. I get that a lot of people don't like these movies, but I have very fond memories of it. I find the action sequences to be great. It's directed by Michael Believe. Oh, I was wrong. Never heard of him before, but it's got fun action sequences, so I do really enjoy that. I just got rid of Letterboxd. Crap. Didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to do that. I gotta get back on Letterboxd. And we're gonna go ahead and dive into the next batch of movies. Oh, here we are. We'll go from 66 to, let's go to 56. Here's my, so I'm going to assume Slug is putting his ranking down below. I'll react to that ranking once you put it in. My fan is operated by remote, and I lost the remote, so it's really cold in here. That's why I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, not a movie shirt, because it is just freezing in my room. All right, dive back into the 2024 list. 66, Joker Filet-O-Doo. I've talked about this quite often, obviously, with my disappointing video and my comic book ranking, so I'm going to kind of speed through this one. Joker Filet-O-Doo, like, you guys can always go check out that and my full review. Joker Filet-O-Doo, I found the first 2 acts to be good enough. I found them to work well enough. And then kind of the third act just kind of ruined it. I was invested in those first 2 acts, and then we enter the third act, which just is kind of like, okay, clearly Todd Phillips wants to make a movie about Arthur Fleck and not the Joker. And as one of Joker's biggest fans, me, I didn't like that direction at all. And so it just kind of like left unanswered plot lines that didn't make sense. It was just the third act, I'm talking about third act here. Third act was just all over the place. Didn't work at all for me. And guess what? Spoilers, it ended with Joker being murdered. So I can't see a problem with that right there. So, like, this is a movie that the third act made me dislike everything about the other part of the movie. And then it made me not like the original Joker as much as I did, which the original Joker movie is one of my favorite films of all time. So, just a very disappointing movie. And it's at the bottom of this list here. Number 65, The Thunderman's Return. And I'm only putting this on my list because technically I watched it. I think I was like doing something, either schoolwork or something on my computer. My brother was doing schoolwork on his computer, and he just kind of turned this one on in the background. And so I used to watch Thundermans all the time. Kind of nice to go back on memory road or memory lane, but I believe that if I watched it without like doing something in the background, that I would just kind of fall asleep to it. So it's not really my thing now that I'm 19 years old, but I did watch it all the time. 64, Kill. Very disappointing movie because it's where I realized that I don't like Indian films. Monkey Man's on this list as well. And I'm just not really a big fan of Indian films where there's so much cool stuff that this film could have had. And then it just kind of didn't work for me because the film honestly is very weird, shot in a very weird way. But then again, like it's kind of repetitive. Where there's interesting things where you get like the family, kind of rooting for the family get off that train because you're watching them get so depressed, watching their family get murdered off one by one. But you're also rooting for the guy, so it's an interesting contrast there. But then it does it over and over again. Like the movie's way too long, so like the first couple times it happens, you're like, this is really good, and then it's like, oh, we're doing it again. Oh, we're doing it again. There was some cool bloody action here, but by the time the movie ended, it just took way too long and it just kind of got me uninvested from the film. And so it didn't really work for me all in all. Not really a film I'd ever revisit. And just like, I'd much rather watch like an American remake of this movie rather than the original because I'm just not a fan of Indian cinema. 63, Madam Web talks a lot about this with my surprising and comic book movie rank. So I'm going to kind of speed through this one. Expected Morbius. Did not get Morbius. I was entertained throughout, so it's entertaining. But the movie has terrible ADR. The cast members have no interactions whatsoever with each other. And just like the overall story and the idea here was kind of dumb when you could have had a cool execution here. So not a good movie whatsoever, but it's a very entertaining bad movie. 62, Cuckoo. Another disappointing movie for me. Was really looking forward to watching this film. And then I just kind of felt like it was weird. Like the movie felt like it was weird on purpose or weird just to be weird at a lot of aspects. And then all of a sudden, like you get this sequence that made no sense. And then like all of a sudden something would reveal itself and you're like, wait, that made something else make sense. That was really interesting. So it was an interesting movie. Interesting ideas here. But then every so often, like it would just completely lose my interest and then do something, gain my interest back, and then do it over and over again. And it just kind of felt it was weird for being weird. So this is a movie that I'm really glad I watched. I got a message real quick. Oh. This was a movie that I'm really glad I watched. That I thought was okay, I guess. But it's also a movie that I just felt like okay. At some point, I just kind of wanted it to end, and so Cuckoo just a very disappointing movie for me. I'm getting a message from work. Let me look at this real quick. All right, 61, Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver. I know it's surprising me as well that Rebel Moon Part 2 was higher up on this list, not the bottom 10, because I hated that first Rebel Moon movie. This one, I did find the first act to be boring. Like we get scenes where people are just chopping wheat like slow-mo time, Zack Snyder slow-mo. It's stupid. But when we did get to like the action stuff and the stuff that I wanted in that first movie, I find it to be okay. I found it to be entertaining, and that's what a movie is. And so entertaining action sequences, the horrible story, horrible idea. I'm still pissed off at the fact that they did the director's cuts so much that I didn't even bother watching the director's cut. So I didn't even see the Rebel Moon director's cuts because I just don't care. Not really a world I really want to revisit. But, however, I did find some entertainment within the second half of this movie, and that's why it's not at the bottom of the list. 60, Night Swim, another one of those Blumhouse movies. First two acts didn't work for me whatsoever because it's just like, what's over there? What's over there? Boo! Someone's there. Ah! It's just that kind of movie. I don't like movies like that anymore, especially as somebody that is a huge horror fan. Movies like that just don't do it for me anymore. And so, but I did find that third act where it actually got unique. I love Wyatt Russell, so when we got evil Wyatt Russell, it did turn into something like, okay, I haven't seen this before. It has more sauce than Imaginary. So this was a movie that I did come out and say like, okay, that wasn't great, but it was a fine horror movie. It didn't piss me off as much. Never watch it again, but I mean, it's here. Okay, we do got like MLG's ranking of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. 10 TMNT, 9 Rise TMNT movie, 8 Mutant Mayhem. Whoa, Mutant Mayhem's low. Turtles Forever, 6 TMNT 2. Soto Oh, Secret of the Ooze. I get it. 5, TMNT Out of the Shadows. 4, Batman vs. TMNT. 3, Michael Bay Ninja Turtles 2. So Michael Bay did direct Ninja Turtles 2. Okay, TMNT 2007, TMNT 1990. Solid ranking. There are a couple surprises here. Mutant Mayhem being that low. I'm fine with it, but solid ranking. Slug, solid ranking. There's stuff going on. Oh, hey, look who decided to join us. Hi, kitty. Hi, kitty cat. All right, where were we at? We enter the 50s. Number 59, Orion and the Dark. This is a Netflix movie that the first half of the movie I found to be very entertaining, very interesting. My cat is shaking my webcam. Come here. Nope, nope. Can't have you do that. Nope. Come here, baby. Come here. This cat don't like to be picked up, but she can't be shaking my webcam. Hi, kitty, kitty. Did Master Splinter dirty? I agree with to an extent that Master Splinter was not as good in Mutant Mayhem, but I did find Jackie Chan was good and there were some comedic moments. Orion in the Dark. How do you guys like my kitty? Her name's Velma. We have Fred, which is my male cat, Daphne and Velma. I used to have a dog named Scooby Doo. We just never had a Shaggy, which is really weird, but this cat doesn't like being held. But look at my baby. Love you, baby. Just can't be messing with my webcam, okay? All right, 59. Bye. Okay, let's talk about Orion in the Dark. The first half of the film I found to be okay. Yeah, that was interesting. That was unique. That was entertaining enough. Good voice cast. And then by the second half of the film, it feels like the film wanted to end at around the hour and 20-minute mark, but they wanted to make it longer. So we just kind of get adding on and adding on and adding on to where all of a sudden, like, we have this whole time travel plot at the final 20 minutes of the movie. Like, whoa, whoa, where did that come from? That just came from absolutely nowhere. And so this was a movie that I found really unique, really interesting. I didn't hate whatsoever. Some pretty huge flaws in the final couple minutes of the movie. Number 1, they did Master Splinter fat. 2, Splinter was a scared cat. 3, Master Splinter was weird. Yeah, pretty much. I just find that Mutant Mayhem to be really entertaining. I did have issues with it on rewatch though. 58, Arcadian, a movie that should have been so much better. I found the creature designs to be awesome. Every time the creatures on screen, this movie was pretty great. But the movie from like the first half of it was very interesting. Like, okay, I dig this a lot. This is very, very good. And then all of a sudden, like, we get all the shaky cam stuff to where the first scene with the monsters, like, you can't see what's going on whatsoever. And then from that on, you're like, okay, so we go from being very interesting to completely switching up the plot to be like this romance between the brother and this girl that I didn't dig whatsoever. And so it just really was like really weird. Like, okay, why are we switching it up so much? And then again, when we finally get the monsters on screen, it's really cool. But like, again, it's one of those movies that feels like it added on plot lines that made no sense to the movie just to make the film longer. And the shaky cam stuff just wasn't it, bro. So, I mean, I thought like a lot of the movie had potential to be great. It just kind of fell flat for me. 57, Lift. This is a Netflix original movie. Came out last January. Don't remember much from the film, obviously, but has Kevin Hart, bunch of cast members. Typical Netflix movie. You're doing a heist thing. It's entertaining enough for the time being, but it's just not a movie that like I'd ever go rewatch. There's movies like this that are fantastic, and there's movies like this that are just meant to turn on a Friday night, and that's exactly what Lift was for me. 56, ISS. Let me take a drink. And then you guys can start shooting in your questions because that'll be 10 movies we talked about. And I'll answer some questions. What movie were we talking about again? 56, ISS. This is a thriller taking place on the International Space Station with a bunch of Russians and a bunch of Americans when Earth starts to go haywire. First half of the movie found to be a very entertaining and very thrilling thriller. Thought there was a lot of stuff that really worked here. Like, okay, it's not great, but it's a good thriller. Second half kind of goes a little too off the rails for me where characters are making dumb decisions. It goes like from 5 to 11, just like in a split second. And so it's entertaining. It's still a good thriller, but I do feel like once we like kind of hit that one point, it just goes boom, we're speeding through it real quick. And like all this stuff's happening, it just kind of gets exhausting a little bit. And so, still found the film to be good enough thriller, just not one of the great ones. Anybody got any questions for me? We'll take 3 minutes. 3 minutes here. People shoot at me in any questions. Let me stretch my leg a little bit. Thing is, I don't have a desk to sit at when I'm doing live streams. Actually, I do have a desk. I should have sat on my desk today. That would have been a really good idea. I can't believe I didn't think of that. Next live stream, guys. Next live stream. Stretch out my leg a little bit. Favorite fast food burger ever. So I kind of want to keep the questions movies or sports related or TV shows. But I'll answer Jake's question because he's my brother. Ever. Like, does it have to be from one restaurant? The new, I do have a video on my second channel where we tried all the new Burger King burgers, and they were fire. They were fire. McDonald's fry, then obviously, like that's just the easy answer. McDonald's fry, and then yeah, Jake was in that video. Favorite fast food burger ever. Oh no, I ate a burger at Ronnie's yesterday when I went to go see an early screening of Better Man, and it was horrible. $35 for burgers, for one burger and fries, and chicken strips and fries. $35. I couldn't believe it. Crap. What's my favorite fast food burger? It'd go down to between the two greats, Big Mac or Whopper. Either Big Mac or Whopper. I can go for any either day. What is the best Ghostbusters film? Ghostbusters, the original, is very good, but I think it's beat out by Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is why I found Frozen Empire, which, hey, guess what the next movie we're talking about is? Perfect timing, MLG. Anyways, Ghostbusters Afterlife, found it to be great. I'll talk more about that in just a minute when I talk about Frozen Empire, but I found Afterlife to just be emotional, a really great sequel, or really great what's the word for it? Legacy sequel to the original Ghostbusters movie. It's a movie that I didn't like that much in the theater, and when I rewatched it at home, I just connected with it so much more. All right, any other questions? Should I move to my desk, chat? Feels weird calling yours chat. Should I move to my desk? No, because I'd have to move a lot of stuff and take a minute. But I can't believe I have a desk in my room and I didn't think to use it. All right, I'm going to stand up, walk for just a minute, stretch out my legs a little bit, and then we'll move on to number 55 through 45. Ghostbusters Afterlife 3 will be called Ghostbusters Future Life. Loki, I love that. I love that name, Slug. I think that's a great name. I'll be right back. I'm going to walk around for a minute. Yeah, I know it just shook. Ugh. Oh, that feels good. Doing some high knees a little bit. To popular belief, I do exercise quite a bit. This haven't been in the past couple of days because I've been sick and the roads have been really icy and really bad. Hey, Penn State, Notre Dame on tonight. I'm excited for that game. I'm a huge Notre Dame fan. Or not a huge Notre Dame fan. I'm a Florida fan. Notre Dame's who I want to win it all, and I do like Notre Dame. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. I'm back. Penn State all the way. Disagree. Let's go Notre Dame. I'm really surprised. I didn't have them beating Georgia. I thought Georgia was going to stomp them. And then I didn't realize that Carson Beck was going to be out. And so happy Notre Dame's on. And I do hope they can win a national championship. Though at this point, it's really looking like Ohio State's going to. $55 through $45 time. So what we're doing here. And I think this is where we start getting into hot take territory. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're getting 3 huge hot takes in this section of movies we're talking about. Number 55, and I kind of alluded to it a couple minutes ago, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Or, no, Ghostbusters Afterlife is great. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. This third act was everything I wanted the movie to be. You get all the Ghostbusters fighting this one monster. It was awesome. But the first 2 acts, man, they were so disappointing to me because it just was like a video game where like you're just following these characters doing random side plots throughout the entire movie until you get to the finale where, oh, hey, we actually have a ghost to fight. So it's like easy to do a story like this. And the movie's just like, okay, yeah, let's try to go throughout all these random side plots and just crank out a movie where we could do like 5 or 6 movies like this. And let's just put out the one. Let's just put out one and have all these spotlights in here. So the thing that I really liked, the reason why it's high on this list, because that third act was awesome, but the movie didn't really work up until then. 54, Y2K, a movie I was really looking forward to. That found it to be fine enough. There's some things in here that I thought were good. I just didn't think the movie was funny. A lot of the jokes was like, oh, we got internet porn, but it's old internet porn. Zach, the new Ghostbusters trilogy should all have life and name trilogy. Ghostbusters Empire should be called Ghostbusters Frozen Life. I would be so down for that. But apparently they weren't. Anyways, Y2K, all the humor was like internet porn, but it's old internet porn. And like sequences where they're hanging out with Rachel Zegler and one of the computers pulls up porn on its screen. Not very funny. To me, I found certain character, the best friend character, to, spoiler alert, have an emotional punch when he died, but he was just annoying as heck throughout the entire film. Fred Durst stuff in here was very cringe. Like, I love Fred Durst, but like the way the people were acting, just very cringe. Like, okay. I'm cringing at that. But there were some solid kills in here, some okay moments, and found a movie to where like it was an okay slasher enough, but I didn't love it. Like, I thought I was going to love it, and it just was another very disappointing movie. Number 53, Despicable Me 4, and whoa, okay, I don't want to do that. I just moved up one of my hot takes way too up. Okay, wait, no, it's better than that movie. Perfect. We're good. We're chill. 53, Despicable Me 4. Huge fan of the first couple of movies. Hate the Minions movies. Do not like Despicable Me 3, so I didn't have much anticipation going into this one. Actually, yeah, I did. It was on my top 10 most anticipated movies of the year, or in my most anticipated movie of the year list. What am I talking about? But the trailers looked like it was going to go back to the original movie, and then like the reviews kind of made me like, okay, it's not doing that. I found where we're hanging out with the characters to be really fun, really entertaining with characters I really do like. But then again, when we get into that third act, or not the third act, but when we get into the actual plot of the movie, tell me what a Despicable Me movie this is from. Villain has a giant robot machine and hates Gru because his name's Gru, apparently. Yeah, that's like almost the last 4 Despicable Me franchise movies. And so like the plot's very basic, very boring, and I honestly got bored watching the plot. But I did find there to be some funny and entertaining sequences with our characters that I have grew up with. 52, hot take alert, The First Omen. I loved Immaculate, and this movie is so much like Immaculate, except it doesn't have the short runtime. It has a much longer runtime. So the first act, where we're getting to all the boring stuff, all the stuff I don't like, which is the nun stuff. It's just not entertaining. And then when we get to the finale, where it goes to like all the pregnant stuff and all the messed up stuff, that's what I loved about the movie. That's what prevented it from being my bottom 10 of the year, because I thought that like the whole third act was awesome, great stuff. Got me really invested in the movie. But the first two acts were just boring nun stuff, much longer than Immaculate. And so, as someone who's not really typically a fan of nun horror movies, I didn't really find it to be that entertaining. And even Immaculate, it almost does everything that this movie does, but better. And so, I'm definitely on the Immaculate side of things. 51, Fly Me to the Moon Back. I don't know why I'm singing, especially when my voice sounds like this. Speaking of my voice, time to take a drink. Oh, hey, and my Better Man review uploaded. So once you're done here, go check out my Better Man review and my out of theater reaction that I did last night. Very cool experience as well. I talked to a guy who worked with Paramount about. I gave him my email, so he should be sending me a form to fill out. All right. What movie were we talking about again? Oh yeah, Fly Me to the Moon. I found this movie to be a typical summer movie that if I had a girlfriend, it'd be perfect, but I don't. I went to go see it the day after a mission trip with a bunch of my guy friends, and so we had fun. I thought the movie, for the most part, was fine. The two cast members, two people I don't like, are actually very good in this movie and actually had some really good chemistry. Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson. So I found that aspect to be pretty good. But the movie definitely does kind of lose its way along the way of the film and like runs for way too long. There are sequences that I just got completely uninvested for. So it doesn't keep my interest throughout the entire movie. And by the third act, I'm just like, okay, the movie should have ended like 20 minutes ago. Hot take. This is the biggest hot take. Well, one of the biggest. We got a couple more hot takes coming up soon. One of the biggest hot takes you'll see in this entire video, what comes at number 50. And it surprises me as well. It surprises me as well. Slug, I'll answer your question once I get to 44. Number 50, The Substance. I know. Give me 1 second. Hurts me just as much as it hurts you guys for me to put The Substance at number 50. This is a movie that I didn't find entertaining whatsoever. I found it to be really interesting. There are fantastic things about this film, and we're going to spend a couple minutes talking about this film because I got a lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts for The Substance, and if it wasn't the end of the year when I watched it, I would have a full review out, but I don't. The Substance, for me, not entertaining whatsoever, but it has a perfect story. The story itself here about beauty standards, unrealistic beauty standards, is a story that everybody needs to see. Because as somebody who's me, I was 310 pounds. I'm going to the gym. I already lost about 15 pounds. So I'm like under 300 now. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff there. But for people that like, the thing that goes through this movie, with people with the unrealistic beauty standards, that's a great story here. Like the constant contrast between the Margaret Qualley's character and crap. Why can't I remember her name? Holy crap. She's phenomenal in this film. I'm completely blanking on her name and I feel so bad. I'm going to feel like such an idiot when I pull up her name. Shoot. Demi Moore. Demi Moore. The contrast between Mark Qualley and Demi Moore, that's perfect. The overall story here constantly has an underlying meaning, and it is great. The cast, Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, both need Oscars. I'm going to move my camera up a little bit there too. They both need Oscars. They are phenomenal in this film, and I definitely think should be Oscar winners because they are just hands down probably the two best performances of the year. They are phenomenal in this film. Dennis Quaid is really weird in this film. Oh, smudge on my computer. Dennis Quaid, really weird in this film. And the film is also able to gross me out in every single way. Like things that I like get squirmish for. Needles, losing teeth, Stuff coming out of your belly button. That's a really specific and weird one. Losing your fingernails. It's able to almost every single sequence make me squirm. I don't think I'll ever be able to eat shrimp after watching Dennis Quaid eat shrimp in the beginning of this film because that's disgusting. But it's able to make me squirm. Great performances. A absolutely fantastic story that everyone needs to see. Manages not be entertaining. Like, it's a movie that I needed to see, but I constantly felt like, okay, where's this movie going? Okay, we could have cut this out of the film. Okay, it's kind of taking a while to go. And like every time that we get like the underlying meaning, every time we get like the icky stuff, it's great. But it's never a movie I would choose to turn on again. And then like the stuff that I normally think are great, like the monster shooting blood at everybody, the fight between Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, I just don't find that to be entertaining because it doesn't have an underlying meaning. It's just film stuff. And so it's just a very specific and weird movie like that I really wish I loved. It's really good, but it goes down here because I everything above this I'd rather rewatch ahead of it. Number 49. Before I tell you what it is, I'll leave you guys in suspense. Take my last drink of Propel. And then next break, I'm gonna have to go grab another Propel. Perfect. 49 Damsel, another Netflix original film, stars Millie Bobby Brown. Really, it has entertaining moments. It's an entertaining film. One of those Netflix movies that you're going to turn on Friday night and enjoy. Or for me, it was like a Saturday morning before work. And I enjoyed it. I didn't find there to be too much problems with the film. I didn't find there to be really that issue with the film because it's an entertaining enough Netflix movie. It's not great whatsoever, and it's really weird that I'm putting this above The Substance, but it's also a movie that I'd rather rewatch over The Substance. Number 48, another hot take, Strangers Chapter 1, and it's a hot take that this is this high. I didn't want to watch this movie after I heard all the reviews. I turned it on. I bought the 4K Steelbook because honestly, the 4K Steelbook was awesome. I just turned it on just because it's a movie I had to watch. And I found the atmosphere and creepiness to be good. I do not like home invasions. Like, those freak me out. Especially late at night, me watching it by myself. I found there to be some really tense atmospheres, and the movie was really tense quite a few times in the film. And just like had me on the edge of the seat through a lot. Reason why it's not higher. These characters are dumb as a mug. There's a sequence where they're hiding in the bedroom. There's just a random window behind them. You know, they can go out the window and they're just sitting there like, oh no, what should we do? How are we going to escape these three strangers? How are we going to do it? I don't know, man. I don't know. Go out the freaking window. That would be a start. That would be a start right there. So unbelievably stupid characters. There's one time where the guy holds up a shotgun to the villain, like, I'm gonna kill you, bro. But tell me where my girl is. Pull the trigger, man. Just kill him already. But no, they're not gonna kill him because why would they kill him? Why would they do that? Because we need a sequel movie. But then again, very tense sequences in the movie that made it worthwhile. So I enjoyed the movie enough. That's also a movie that's really fun to talk about. Like, holy crap, these characters are stupid. There's like one point they're outside. Where are the strangers? Where are the strangers? What should we do? Should we make a run for it? Nah, let's go to the shed. I don't know who wrote the script. But again, tense moments I do think worked for me. 47, The Instigators. This is Doug Liman's second film of the year. His other film is going to be much higher. Found the film to be enjoyable enough. It's got a good cast here. Casey Affleck, I think it's Matt Damon as well in this film. Both had pretty good chemistry. I found it to be entertaining in that aspect. Just one of those entertaining streaming movies on Apple Plus that you can just sit back and, like I said earlier, enjoy on a Friday night. With this one, I do think like the third act kind of, or the movie itself just kind of ends off like, okay, the movie's ending now. The movie's over. Okay. We still had plot lines that could have still been explored, but it's fine. It's again another fine Friday night watch, and I did enjoy it enough. Excuse me. Last two movies are huge hot takes for being this low. 46, Transformers 1. Going to kind of speed through this because I've talked about it quite a bit on my disappointing list, on my comic book movies ranked list. Transformers 1. So much of this movie I liked. It's so disappointing because I liked so much stuff in this film was really, really great. There were some great action sequences. Megatron's downfall was awesome. So much stuff. The twist of the villain, great stuff. But then when we enter the third act, or no, that's not what I meant to say. We're an hour and 6 minutes in, and my brain's already turning to mush. But the entire movie, Optimus Prime is just not likable. Not at all. Like, he is just this one guy, like an irresponsible teenager. And I didn't enjoy that whatsoever, where he's just like, yeah, guys, let's do this. And then all of a sudden he turns into Optimus Prime and gets better, but I just didn't like his character. And the animation itself kind of felt like, that Transformers Prime show that released, I think it was on Nickelodeon a couple years ago. Yeah, the animation just kind of reminded me of that. Like, I can't believe I'm watching this animation on a big screen. Didn't vibe with the animation whatsoever. And so there's just very disappointing aspects in this movie that otherwise that could have been a great movie. Maybe if I rewatch it, I'll like it much better. But for that one watch I had in theater, didn't like it that much. 45, and I didn't mean to do that again. I keep messing with that. Go down. 45. Last movie we're going to talk about before I go stretch my legs, get a drink. Hitman. Very disappointing movie. Not because it's bad. It's a really good movie, but because people told me that this was one of the best movies of the decade. When I watched it, I was like, yeah, that's a good movie. But where are you finding best movies of the decade at? The stuff that I found to be really great was that one sequence where he has to read off the phone, the stuff that they do, amazing. Glenn Powell, great in this film. Very entertaining movie. Really enjoyed it. But I never found a moment where, like, yeah, this is best of the year stuff. This is awesome right here. I just found it like, yeah, I'm enjoying this movie, but like, where is the best of the year stuff? Where's the best of the decade stuff? I didn't get any of that throughout this entire film. And while I did find it to be a pretty good movie, when you hype a movie up like that, I got the experience that a lot of people did with Long Legs, where people said it's the scariest movie of the year, myself included. And people go watching that like, it's not that scary, dude. It's really not that scary. All right, let's take a break before we head to 44 through 34. We're speeding through this, man. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're going to be up there. All right, shoot in your questions. I already have a question to answer from Slug MLG, but I'm going to go grab another Propel because I need a Propel. Look at this real quick. Hey, the Raiders fired Tom Telesco. No surprise there. The Raiders suck. Chiefs for the Super Bowl, baby. Do I have... Hey, I still got some Propel in here, actually. Yummy. Zach, thoughts on Ghostbusters Frozen Empire 3? I think if we do a Ghostbusters 3 with this group, I feel like it's much needed, but you need to learn from your mistakes from Frozen Empire. Like, you can't do the exact same things you did in Frozen Empire, like add all these plot lines, make it not make sense through the first couple acts of the movie, and then like expect to have a good movie because like the Frozen Empire wasn't very good. Like, it was a great third act, but the overall movie wasn't very good. So if you have like an actual good script here, has potential to be phenomenal, actually. All right, any more questions? Shoot them in. I'm gonna go grab another Propel real quick. Go throw the other Propel I had away. There you are. I'll BRB, if that's what the kids say these days. Shoot in your questions. I'll answer some questions. He's back, baby. He's back. All right, any questions for me? Anybody, anything? Hey, David Ayer's making a new movie starring Jason Statham. We'll talk about the beekeeper later on. It's called A Working Man. And it's about him tracking down human traffickers. Should be interesting enough. Open my new propel. Do you know Ghostbusters 2016 has an extended cut? I did not. Is the movie good enough to watch an extended cut? It is not. But maybe if I rewatch them all, if they do another Ghostbusters film, maybe I will watch the extended cut. Sorry, I'm reading this post by Austin Burke. You guys should definitely go check out his channel. He's awesome. He's phenomenal. It better than the theater cut. Okay, so maybe if I do another Ghostbusters ranking eventually, I'll watch the extended cut. Let's move on to 44 through 34. Then we'll have 23 through 13. Or actual, I'll tell you what we'll do. Or 33 through 23. And then we'll do 22 through till 10. And then I'll do my top 10 of the year. Alrighty, baby. Guys, go see Better Man. Seriously, when it releases. I think it comes out the 17th, but it's so good, bro. Like, I can't stop thinking about that movie. It is great. I dropped my propel and I can't find it. I found it. It is a phenomenal movie. Like, seriously, what a way to kick off 2025. Mouth's getting dry. My throat's starting to hurt. We're all good. We're all good. We got 44 more movies to talk about. What rated is Better Man? Better Man is rated R because there's drug use, nudity, lots of language, lots of dick jokes. So but it's a very good movie. Number 44, Elevation. This is basically A Quiet Place, but instead of the sound gimmick, monsters can't go up above a certain area to the ground. And it is just a typical monster movie. I do enjoy films like this. So I did have a very fun time watching this movie. I actually went to go see Nora, decided that I don't want to watch a movie in the theater with all those sex scenes. So I'll wait until it comes home, skip the sex scenes, and then give you an honest thoughts on that movie. But I haven't seen Anora yet because I saw 15 minutes of it. Left to go see this movie. Typical monster movie, entertaining enough. Had some fun monster sequences that I thought it was fine. But it is just that typical monster movie, nothing too special. 43, disappointing one. Bad Boys Ride or Die. I love the Bad Boys franchise. Saw it for the first time before I saw this one, and I absolutely adored it. But Bad Boys Ride or Die for me was the worst one of the trilogy or of the four films because there is great stuff here. There's individual sequences that I remember, but like the story itself, the actual plot of the film, not that memorable whatsoever. Like I genuinely right now cannot think of what the actual plot of the film was. But I did move it up a couple spots because I did kind of rewatch it. I have a TV in my room now because that's what I got for Christmas. And so my mother, or not my mother, but I turned my brain's turning mush, guys. I turned it on sometimes to fall asleep too, and it's a fun movie. Again, individual sequences really work for me, but the overall story just not memorable whatsoever. Like I literally went to go eat Waffle House an hour after watching this movie, and I just kind of like, what was that movie about? What was the movie actually about? I can't remember. So Bad Boys Ride or Die, kind of disappointing, the worst one of the trilogy, but it's or of the four movies. Why do I keep saying trilogy? It's still a good film. 42, Red One, the new Christmas movie with The Rock and all that. I found it to be good enough. It was an entertaining Christmas film. Saw it with my family, and that kind of helped it out. Where it's just an entertaining movie, and it's fine. That's what it is. The Rock is playing super serious elf. Chris Evans is playing a complete jerk in the movie, and he's entertaining enough. There's some cool mystical stuff in here, some cool action sequences. And so it's a movie that I did enjoy enough. The film also doesn't have an excuse for having that big of a budget. It's crazy. But this is a movie that I can tell that we're just going to kind of turn on every Christmas season. Got me in the Christmas spirit, and I did like the movie. 41, told you I'd talk about this one. My throat is really starting to hurt. Should have taken some ibuprofen. Got to tough it out, guys. 41, Monkey Man. Monkey Man. Indian movie. When it goes hard with the action sequences, the movie is awesome. Like, there are some fantastic action sequences in here. People just getting absolutely bodied, blood going everywhere. Whole third act was phenomenal. But when we do get to the middle act and it decides to go like lore heavy on the Indian stuff, and just like the movie just kind of lost me. Like, okay, I don't really care about the plot. The only reason I'm here is to see like people get bodied for Indian John Wick. And when it's that, it's really entertaining. But the other parts of the movie were just kind of like, okay, yeah, that's it could be better. Middle act could have definitely been better. 40, Self-Reliance, a movie not a lot of people have heard about because it came out at the very beginning of the year on Hulu. Very unique film. The plot is basically like there's this game where apparently people are going to try to kill him for a certain amount of time, and if he wins, he survives. It's a very unique film about loneliness and all that. The guy who voices Spider-Man in Into the Spider-Verse, not the one guy, not Miles, not the creep that's going crazy right now, but actual Peter Parker, great in the film, and it just has a nice view on loneliness and unique aspects like that I did really dig from this movie. Nobody acts like a real person. It is a very odd movie, but it is a movie that I did really dig. Hi, kitty. She's back. Hi, baby. Tom Holland. No, not Tom Holland. No. Tom Holland, Spider-Man in the MCU. In the Into the Spider-Verse movies. Like, crap. Dang it, Jackson. Now you gotta make me look this up. Jake Johnson, that's his name. And Shamik Moore is the creep from that's going all crazy. The little stuff with Josh Allen getting married and what he's been saying, kind of insane, and it's kind of funny, but it's really insane. You should probably cast another voice actor. Beyond the Spider-Verse, my most anticipated movie of all time, is probably not going to come out for another 6 years. Amazing. 39, Mufasa, The Lion King. This is a movie that I was dreading watching, and I left the theater like, hey, that was entertaining enough. I wasn't bored watching it. Kids are going to enjoy it. But at this point as well, it's really a movie that I'm never going to want to rewatch. I'm never going to want to rewatch this movie, just like I never wanted to see this movie. But, I mean, I really also can't really remember a whole lot. I remember that the musical numbers were good. The villain I thought was unique enough. And the downfall of Scar I thought was good. So this was a movie that like kind of surprised me in a way, but the simple fact of being a generic Disney movie. So it's fine. It's fine. Surprised me a lot. 38, Kraven the Hunter. This is a movie that was much higher on this list. And then I saw it twice, noticed a lot of the flaws that a lot of people are saying. Quite a few people are like just talking about like the overall ADR, the script, but I enjoyed it enough just because I like rated R movies. I like rated R action movies, and this had the rated R blood, guts everywhere, flying everywhere, the aspect that I do enjoy in this film. And so I did enjoy the film overall, even though like, yeah, the script's got mega issues. There's definitely some really weird sequences inside the film. The overall story doesn't kick into 45 minutes in, but every time there was an action sequence, every time there was a rated R action sequence, I did really dig this movie. And Kraven the Hunter, not as good as it was the first time I saw it. Definitely has a lot of issues, but it's entertaining enough. 37, A Quiet Place, Day 1. This was a movie that kind of disappointed me when I was watching it, but not for the wrong reasons. I need a drink again. That's what happens. Freaking allergies. Allergies suck, everybody. I hate allergies. Disappointed for all the right reasons. Where this is not. Whoa. Whoa, where did that crack come from? The voice crack. Okay. This is not a movie about people surviving the apocalypse. Well, it is, but that's not the main focus of it. The main focus of the movie is a guy treating this girl with a terminal disease to one last hurrah. It's awesome. The final sequence very emotional. But while watching the movie, I just kind of felt like, okay, yeah, that's not really what I want. When every time the creatures are on screen, there are some very intense sequences in here. I feel like I'd put this a lot higher if I rewatched it, which I do really want to rewatch it with the right expectations. But I didn't have the right expectations, so I left theater like, that was really good, but it was also really like not exactly what I wanted to see. And when I want to see a movie about New York, the loudest city on earth, the loudest city in the United States, getting attacked by these monsters, the overall aspect and the way they did the film was a little bit weird. But I did overall like the overall story, and I thought it was unique enough. 36, my most surprising movie of the year, Ezra. It's only down this low because I never rewatched the film. I thought the movie was great. I wouldn't have ever watched it if I didn't see it in a Marcus Mystery movie. The cast is great. It's got Bobby Cannavale. It's got Robert De Niro in the film. The overall story is about a guy taking his autistic son to go on this big road trip. It has some very emotional moments. It can be funny at times. The cast is very, very good. The overall story was very unique and interesting. And a movie that I was beginning to think that I was going to walk out on when I saw the overall title of the movie pop up at a mystery movie. I was very surprised I stayed, and I was very happy. But overall, every movie on this list, I would rather rewatch over Ezra. And that's only why it's at 36, but it's a really good movie. Slug MLG says, what about Terrifier 3? Oh, just wait. Just wait. Terrifier 3 will come up. I wouldn't say soon, but it's up there. It's really up there. 35. Put you in suspense. Two more movies and I'll take a quick break. 35, The Bike Riders. Now, movies like this, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, movies that always have a unique story, but there's also always sequences that get me completely uninvested because of how long those movies are. With Oppenheimer, it's one of my favorite Christopher Nolan films, but I definitely need to rewatch it very soon. But with The Bike Riders, this has all that, a story that's very unique, but it also is a film that has a smaller runtime, which for some people are saying that they didn't get exactly what they wanted out of the film because of that runtime. For me, it didn't feel like I was sitting there for an eternity. It felt like got to all the points that I wanted to see out of the story, very unique, good cast, and then all of a sudden, the movie ends, and it didn't feel like I was sitting there forever. I just kind of left the theater like, you know what? That was a very good movie. It was a very good time. And so I did really, really like The Bike Riders. I thought it was a very great movie. 34, Godzilla times Kong, The New Empire. This was a movie that I loved in theater, thought it was going to be my top 10 of the year. And then I rewatched the film and I found the human stuff kind of dragged it down. Every monster fight was great. Everything with the monsters was phenomenal. But the overall human plot that I thought worked in the theater when I rewatched it, it's kind of okay, bud, let's get to the actual monster stuff. And so it does the thing that we get with a lot of MonsterVerse movies. Human subplot. I think if I rewatched it again, maybe I'd like it a little bit more, mainly because I watched the film with my best friend when I rewatched it. But overall, the movie kind of disappointed me on rewatch. But in that theater, the theater experience was great. All right, any questions for me before we dive into 33 through 23? Any questions for me at all? I would love to hear them. I'll answer some questions here. Now, for viewers, one of you guys have to have some questions, movie or sports related or TV show related. Creature Commando's ended today. I'm planning on watching that the new episode after here and filming a review maybe. If I want to film today. Holy crap. Okay. I know this is football related, but Georgia football quarterback Carson Beck plans to enter the transfer portal. He's horrible. He had a horrible year. He was not good at all. But hey, we'll see where he goes. I don't like Georgia. Maybe I'll like Carson Beck if he goes somewhere good. Fingers crossed, Florida don't pick him up, because I really do think we got a future great quarterback in DJ Lagway. Like, he really merged into our team. Thoughts on Marvel versus DC, like a movie or a cinematic universe? Because that's really interesting question. A movie would be awesome. Cinematic universe, I don't know how you do it, but I'd be completely down for it. Marvel versus DC is a movie. So a Marvel versus DC movie is something that I've always wanted. I would absolutely love it if we had a Marvel versus DC movie. And I highly I really want someone to make that movie. There's a fan film on YouTube that is very, very good for a Marvel vs. DC movie. Like, especially if we get the MCU and the DCU together versus movie, would be phenomenal. And like, the multiverse is happening, so it's possible. So I'd be so down for it. I'd be so down for it. Any other questions? We'll go 2 more minutes for questions. Slug MLG, you get your wish. Maybe IR do a RP. What does that last part mean? I'm sorry, I'm not very smart. IR do an RP. I don't get it. Fortnite RP, aka movie. I'd be down. I don't play Fortnite, but Fortnite movie would be really interesting, especially if, like, maybe you do it like Jumanji, honestly, where like people get sucked into the Fortnite game and they have to survive a battle royale. That'd be really cool. I think it's also another movie that I'm like, yeah, that'd be a really cool movie to make, and I'm surprised nobody's doing it yet. I mean, we're getting a Minecraft movie, for goodness sake. That movie, that game barely has a story. It's easy to make a Fortnite story, to me. It really, really is. How long will it take you to grow a mustache? I wish I could grow one. I don't know. I'm trying to grow one, man. I really am trying to grow one. Like, it's just not really growing for me. So, how long it? But I know What's my mustache look like? See, it's not a great mustache though. Like, it took me months and months to get it like this. Like, I want it to be bigger. Seriously, I go without shaving for a month and still can't get one. Same, dude. Like, I know I got kind of a mustache, but like, I went without like 4 months and it didn't get much bigger than this. But I've heard, like, if you keep shaving it, it'll grow back bigger and bigger. So that's what I've been trying to do. It really, really hasn't been working. All right, let's dive into some more movies. Oh, and hey, Andrew was the one who asked that question. Shout out to Andrew. Where are we at? 33, The Watchers. This was M. Night Shyamalan's Daughters. I'll have to keep up, man. I'm 41 and still crappy. I can't do it. Hey, man, you got this. Like, I trust you. I mean, that was a dumb thing to say. I believe in you. You got this. You can get a mustache, man. I need to grow a bigger one too because that'd look cool. Anyways, The Watchers, M. Night Shyamalan's daughter's movie. First act, I was like, whoa, this is horrible. And then it soon grows into like, hey, this is interesting. I'm enjoying this. I have questions, and the questions that I have are getting answered. Whoa, excuse me. Very interesting stuff that happens in the movie. And even like the third act that a lot of people I've seen were, whoa, excuse me. The third act that I've seen a lot of people have complaints about. I even felt like, okay, that wasn't as bad as people were saying it was. And I got the hiccups. Great. That wasn't as bad as people were saying it was. I thought that was good enough. So I did like The Watchers a lot. And I saw it in a triple feature with Hitman and Bad Boys for Life. And so, or Bad Boys Ride or Die. And so, like, this was the best one out of those, which is very surprising. 32, Argyle, Matthew Vaughn's new movie. I'm a huge Matthew Vaughn fan. Find all of his movies to at least be entertaining in the slightest. And so I did find this one to be very entertaining. The first act kind of struggled for me a little bit, but as soon as it kicks into full swing, full swing, the spy stuff, thought it was awesome. Had some great action sequences here. The overall like marketing for the movie very weird, and like we still haven't had it all figured out, and that's really what's turning a lot of people off. But for me, I overall like do enjoy spy movies. I do enjoy Matthew Vaughn's style, and so this is a movie I did really enjoy. 31, my best friend's favorite movie of the year so far. Speak No Evil. I liked it. I did really like it, but it felt like I was rewatching a movie. Like it, because of the trailers, it played every single movie I saw, and it showed so much of the film. And so, like, it genuinely felt like a film that I was just rewatching. Like, I've seen it all before. A good film I was rewatching, intense thriller. James McAvoy is great. As we head into the third act, like, I was on the edge of my seat through a lot of it, and the third act twists were great. But, like, because of the trailer, it feels like I've seen a lot of the movie before. I think that's really what tainted my experience. My best friend loved this movie. I thought it was really good, but if I didn't see the trailers, I'd say that this is probably a top 15 movie of the year. But because it felt like I was rewatching it the whole time, it's really what kind of the marketing screwed the movie over for me. Kicking off our top 30 of 2024, Venom: The Last Dance. What are we going to again? 23? Yeah. 30, Venom: The Last Dance. I do not like the Venom movies whatsoever. I've never liked Venom 1 or Venom 2. I'm going to fix my camera real quick. There we go. Never liked Venom 1 or Venom 2, but I don't know how to do that. There we go. That's better right there. Anyways, Venom: The Last Dance was just a movie that had Venom and Eddie together the whole movie, and that's exactly the only reason I go to see the Venom films for Venom and Eddie's chemistry, and we got Venom and Eddie's chemistry the whole movie, and I found it really entertaining. And even, like the third act, very symbiote heavy, so like stuff that we haven't seen before in this franchise, very entertaining stuff. The way Noel was utilized was horrible. Constantly felt like Noel needed to be more front and center, and we need another film to like put Noel in. And then like the script where like Venom can't turn full Venom mode to fight villains, but he can turn full Venom mode to dance with Mrs. Chin. Completely ridiculous stuff there. But I did have a really fun time in the movie, and it was genuinely funny as well. Big surprise as well. I'm gonna unplug my computer because it's on full. I can get it out. There we go. Whoa. Computer turned dark. I believe when Venom throws Spider-Man in it, would be a more promising franchise. 100%, man. 100%. There we go. My computer turned dark on me for a minute. Number 29, The Beekeeper, David Ayer, Jason Statham, John Wick knockoff. I don't really like John Wick knockoff, really? John Wick knockoff. I don't really like John Wick knockoff movies. I don't find them to be my kind of thing just because I'm not a huge fan of that original John Wick movie, but this one did work for me just because it adds enough unique stuff in here. David Ayer can shoot action sequences, so there are some great action sequences in here. Jason Statham, a very good movie star, so he was really good in the movie. So I just found this one to be really entertaining, kind of exhausting by the end of the film, but really entertaining film. My camera this way for a minute. Let me mute myself as well so I can blow my nose. Pretty sure you guys don't want to Almost forgot to unmute myself. That would have been horrible. 28, Strange Darling. Very weird movie. I saw this a couple days ago, or a week ago at this point. Very strange movie, to say the least, where it's like this thriller shot at 75 mm. Stories told in different parts, scattered throughout, but it's a unique movie. I've never seen a movie like this before, so I couldn't help but like, whoa, okay, this is really, really cool and really, really good, and just a unique thing that I've never seen inside a film before. So very worked. And then there's like a twist here that's great. Willa Fitzgerald, phenomenal. What's his name? What's his name? I know his name. I do know his name. I can think of it. I can do it. I can do it. But I'm actually just gonna search it. Kyle Gallner. That's who he was. Great in this movie as well. So the two cast members that are throughout this entire movie are great. Has some really intense moments, but it's just not a movie I expected. I didn't expect the movie to be like this, but I'm kind of glad it was because it was a more unique film, one of the more unique films of 2024. 27, Heretic. This is a movie that I found the first half of the movie to be phenomenal, where like it's a question of faith. As someone who is faithful, who is a Christian, who has questioned my faith plenty of times before, I found a lot of the points Hugh Grant was taking up to be interesting, but then at the same time, I really loved the fact that constantly throughout this entire movie, Hugh Grant or the two girls were constantly upheld Hugh Grant. It was a genuine conversation about religion that made sense. The overall twist reveals at the end of the movie made sense. Did kind of lose me in the second half though, where it was just kind of like doing all these mystical stuff and like kind of going a little too far with some of the stuff it did. Where I was like, okay, it's not as great as the first half of the movie was, but it's still a very interesting film and attacked religion, and religion attacked back. And it's a very cool movie that way. Where like people, my Christian people, Christian friends were saying, don't watch this movie. It's sinful if you watch it. And like, it's a battle of like religion where like, it's got good points throughout the entire movie. So very, very good film. Very good movie. But the second half kind of lost me. 26, and I got to do something. I really got to do something just to announce this film. I'm sorry. It's got to happen. Oops. I got to do something to announce this film, guys. Hold on, I'm receiving a text message. Is this the right one? Oh, we got it. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Perfect way to announce this.
That DVD even touches Roadhouse, I will kill you. Roadhouse.
There it is.
Roadhouse.
Ow!
Roadhouse.
Peter, for God's sakes, if you're gonna do that, at least aim for my breasts. Oh, yeah.
I did not know that part happened.
Roadhouse. Roadhouse.
Wait, why are you taking the back way home? There are so many turns.
Roadhouse. 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 Ghost.
Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Gotta laugh at that, dude. It is hilarious. Oh, you couldn't see the video. Could you hear it? It was okay, so you could hear it. Roadhouse. Peter Griffin saying Roadhouse. 20, what is this? 26, I think. 26 Roadhouse, a remake. Now I know a lot of people hate this movie. I've never seen the original Roadhouse. I like Doug Liman, his style, his action sequences found to be very entertaining. And so this was just an action film on Amazon Prime Video that I threw on a Friday night, and I had an absolute ton of fun watching this film. Fantastic action sequences. Jake Gyllenhaal, always a charismatic actor, and I just really enjoyed it. So this is one of those movies that, like, just like Beekeeper, like, it's an action film. I like action films. It was a really good action film that I really did enjoy. And I get that, but I don't have the nostalgia for the original Roadhouse. Like, my dad saw this movie a couple months later and said he hated it. He hated it. For me, I don't have that nostalgia. So I thought it really worked. Again, it could have named itself anything other than Roadhouse, but still, I really did like it. 25, Wicked. I got a message. Bro. I'm going to mute this group chat real quick. Is this just going off? Anywho, what are we at? 25? 25, Wicked. This is the musical about Wicked, which I call Theater Kids Avengers Endgame. Popula's best song. I love the song. The songs were great. The cast performances were phenomenal. The atmosphere of the movie was great. This was just a really great movie. I did find the third act to kind of drag on for a bit long, which I get it. I really do get it. That I really do. What was I saying? I lost track of thought. I've been here for an hour, 43 minutes. I really do get the fact that this is part of the actual play, but I did kind of lose interest going into the end. And then kind of like the overall theater experience and the way people are treating Wicked in the movie theater kind of pissed me off. Because I went to see Gladiator 2. People went to my theater singing songs from this movie. I could hear another screening of Wicked, people screaming the songs outside my theater. And like, it overall pissed me off after that. Oh, hey, DeGoats. What's up? Finally, took you long enough to hop in. Anywho, yeah, Wicked. Overall, the movie's really good, but I do think that if I see the film and wait, did you notice Ariana got skinnier? Well, she has been. No, I didn't. But you know, that's just how you gotta act. But the film itself, really good, but I think I need to rewatch it when I see the film in at my own home, where like the overall theater experience doesn't taint it for me. But I did really think it's a really good movie. Number 24, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. I gotta send a message real quick, bro. Why are we debating if Ariana is hot in the chat? End of discussion. Ariana is hot. Period. She is hot. Okay. End of discussion. 24, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. Now, when people go off and say that, dude, this chat, bro. I knew I shouldn't have invited the goats because he'd go crazy. Furiosa, George Miller said he wanted to tell the story, and I don't really see why the story needs to be told. I think that everything that we learned in this movie was perfectly described in Mad Max Fury Road. But the film itself, when we get into the actual action sequences, into the actual Mad Max stuff that I go to these movies for, that's what I really hold on a minute. That's what I really go to these movies for. Okay, we're getting a little too crazy in the chat. Hold on a minute, guys. All right, let's stop with the gay jokes here. Not the time or place for it. I will kick you from the chat, Jake Dollar. That's my brother. And when we get to the Mad Max stuff, the action sequences, the Mad Max stuff that I go to these movies for, then the movie's good. Then the movie is really, really great. It is a perfect theater experience. Some phenomenal action sequences in this film. So that's what I really, really did enjoy about this movie. And I overall did really like the movie itself. But when we get to like when George Miller's saying like this is a story you want to be told, I don't get that because I feel like the whole overall story was told perfectly in Mad Max Fury Road, even though there was still some great action sequences in the film, and it was really, really worth it seeing it in the theater. The last movie we're going to talk about, and we'll talk about 12 movies and then the top 10. Last movie we're going to talk about till we answer some questions. 23, Rebel Ridge. Definitely slower than I thought the film was going to be. I thought it was going to be a fast-paced action film. Definitely slower than I thought it was going to be. Overall film was really, really good. Aaron Pierre is fantastic in the film. When there are action sequences, the action sequences are great. The final 20 minutes is great. It's just kind of has a just kind of an old style. We don't see movies like this anymore. So it was really entertaining to watch. Just over 2 hours. Netflix movie. Doesn't feel like a Netflix movie. It was really, really entertaining. Definitely not what I expected out of the film, but it is overall a movie that worked for me in the overall end of things. So I did really enjoy Rebel Ridge. All right, we'll take a quick break. 3 minutes. Any questions? Movie, TV show related or sports related? I need breaks like this because my brain, I don't know how Sean Chandler does it, dude. Goes on for like 5.5 hours. Who you calling little one to goats? Little one? Do I look like little one to you, pal? Because I'm not. Life's good. You know, I'm having a really good 2025. You know, I'm sick. I went to a conference called CrossCon. Really good conference. I didn't like the schedule because I was struggling to fall asleep or struggling to stay awake. But I do find that there were a lot of speakers there that were phenomenal. Great conference, I really do think. And then we got snowy and icy, so I got a couple days off work, even though I haven't worked in over a week now. That's why I'm working a double tomorrow. I got my first critic screening yesterday, which was really, really cool. So overall, I'm having a great year so far. How about you guys? How's your first 9 days of the year going? The goats, you know where I work. I work with you and Jackson Smith at Subway. Subway sucks, dude. Like, I hate working at Subway, but it pays my bills. So, see Dogman. I do want to see Dogman low key. Like, my brother, I was with my brother the other day. We were hanging out, and I'm deleting that comment to goats. Anyways, we saw he turned on Captain Underpants, kind of watched it in the background. That I thought was I used to hate that movie, and I thought there were some funny moments in here. Not really my thing, but it was good enough. And I do like the trailers for Dogman. I think it looks fun enough. So I'm actually kind of excited for Dogman. I actually do really want to go see Dogman. Stay tuned for a review on the channel, man. Dogman is going to be a bust. I could totally see it being a bust. I could totally see myself walking out of it and hating the movie, but still, I'm excited for it. Checking the screenings. Let's see if there's anything. Dude, I'll tell you what movie I can't wait for. Wolfman comes out next week. It looks so... I actually don't love the trailers, but I like Leigh Whannell, and I am very excited for that movie. All right. Any more questions? Shoot. Got a hole in my mouth, apparently. 30 more seconds, or 20 more seconds, rather, for questions, and then we're going to do... What are we at? 22 through till 10. And then we'll stop for questions. And then I'll do my top 10 of 2024. All right. Number 22, Beetlejuice. This was a film that the overall story itself isn't anything memorable. There are too many plot lines. Overall story itself kind of feels like a streaming movie. But Tim Burton's direction, really entertaining. I was really entertained by the film. Thought it was funny. Normally, Tim Burton, I'm not really a big fan of him. But the overall, set design and overall the design and direction of the film, I thought was very entertaining and worked itself out to be a very entertaining movie that I did really enjoy. I had the 4K here. I rewatched it a month or so ago. Still found it to be a really entertaining movie, and it got me in the Halloween spirit. 21, Your Monster. This is a movie that the first half of the movie I was like, okay, come on. It's just kind of repetitive and boring. Then we get to the second half of the movie, and you get Melissa Barrera, who is acting her butt off. She is phenomenal in this film. I love Melissa Barrera, and she is absolutely crazy good in this film, and like the overall story of it. And this is where we kind of get the contrast between this movie and Lisa Frankenstein, where with Lisa Frankenstein, for me anyways, it's kind of like when we get to the crazy murderous stuff, it's kind of just like, yeah, I don't like that, because like the one character I actually did like is getting tortured because of all this. And then we get this movie, and like goes all the directions that Lisa Frankenstein does, but like with the character that we hate, with Jacob, who is a complete and total dick this entire movie. And so there is that aspect there that I vibed with. I did really like it. I thought the final half of the movie was crazy good, and turned out to be one of my favorites of 2024, even though the first half was very repetitive. Number 20, The Fall Guy. Love this movie. And here's where we get to movies that are all 5 stars or 4.5 stars or less. So like with Beetlejuice was 4 stars. Your Monster was 4 stars. Rebel Ridge was 4 stars. Furiosa was 4 stars. Wicked was 4 stars. From Roadhouse and down, that was all 3.5 stars right there. So, anywho, number 20, it's all 4.5 or 5 stars. So these are phenomenal movies right here. The Fall Guy, love this movie. Saw it in the theater. Saw it like 3 more times at home. Absolutely love this movie. It's my favorite David Leitch movie. David Leitch, a director that I do really, really like. Ryan Gosling, an actor I really, really like. Emily Blunt, an actress I really, really like. They had great chemistry. The film was hilarious. There were some great action sequences. The thing that kind of dragged this down to not be in my top 10 of the year was kind of the third act, when I actually got into like the big grand story of things, instead of just focusing mainly on the romance and kind of like putting the story to a halt. Wasn't as entertaining of the movie for me, but I still found it to be really, really great. And The Fall Guy is one of my favorite movies of 2024 and my favorite David Leitch movie. Number 19, Immaculate. It's just like The First Omen, which is way farther down the list, except that it's an hour and 20 minutes. So all the stuff I don't like about non-horror movies don't kind of drag. There's none of that. Well, there is quite a bit of that stupid look over there. Jump scares. But like the overall story, and when we get to that third act, was really, really good. It was really, really good. And so like that final sequence is haunting, proves that Sydney Sweeney is not just beautiful, but she can really act. That final sequence stayed in my head this entire year, turned to a movie like, holy crap, I fell in love with Immaculate. Number 18, Twisters, the Legacy sequel. Found this movie to be really, really entertaining and really, really good, where it's this movie, obviously. Well, I need a drink and decide what I'm going to talk about it. Who's still here? Yeah, who's still here in the chat, bro? I want to see it in 42. That'd be crazy. But Twisters, what was I going to say about Twisters? I get distracted by this chat here. Twisters, anyways, it has some great tornado action, but the main story in this film isn't about the tornadoes. It's about characters, where you get the character of that's played by Daisy Edgar Jones, who's great in this film. She lost her friends at the beginning of the movie, and you kind of just see them, kind of fall in love throughout the film and pull out her crazy side, where it's not just like she's depressed throughout the majority of the movie, and then all of a sudden she goes throughout the entire film and kind of goes on a character arc with a romance with Glenn Powell, which is a romance you're rooting for. And so I just really love the characters in the film. David Cornsweet plays a villain in this movie that's great. But the overall like story was great. And then you get the extra stuff of tornado action, which I thought was really, 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 really good. 17, Abigail, great movie, great cast, one of the most fun theater experiences I had. Rewatching with my brother, we both had a very fun time. I was dying laughing. Very funny movie with great cast, with great chemistry, very fun monster vampire action sequences where Abigail is just killing people. Very, very great. Really, really dug this movie. And so for me, honestly, I do find the third act to kind of not work as much where like we're getting crap, what is his name, dude? I'm going to explode. My brain is going to explode. Dan Stevens, where Dan Stevens turns into a vampire. I don't find that stuff to be as entertaining as was the first two acts of the film. It's still good, but it just kind of goes off on a little crazy rant a little bit. And so I still really love this movie. It's still one of my most rewatchable movies of 2024, and I do really enjoy it, and that's why it's in my top 20. Number 16, very surprising one, Carry On. This was a movie that kind of just came out of nowhere. Saw the trailer on an ad on a YouTube video, and I was just like, I gotta see that movie. And it's a very intense thriller. Great performances all around. Taron Egerton is great. I'm gonna Google again because I need to see the cast here. Oops. Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman plays a absolutely phenomenal villain inside this entire movie, and he's just intense. The sequences are intense. It's a very smart thriller. I'm a huge thriller fan, and so obviously I get a lot out of movies like this. So really, really did enjoy this film, and I am a huge thriller fan. And so as a thriller fan, it worked as a thriller. Carry On is great. 15, Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2. This was a film that I didn't really want to see. Hold on one second. Let me adjust this chat. Anyways, chat's going a little crazy here. I never had any interest in seeing the original Gladiator until I was going to go see this film and had to watch the original Gladiator movie. So hold on one second. I'm getting some messages. But I watched the first Gladiator movie for the first time in my life. And I really liked it. I thought it was really good. One of those classic movies, obviously. So it really worked for me. And so I was very excited to see this second movie. And it's really good. It is a really great movie. One of my favorite action films of 2024. If not my favorite action. Actually, yeah. Hold on. Is it my favorite action film of 2024? Yeah. Gladiator 2 is my favorite action film of 2024. Phenomenal set pieces, great action sequences in the movie. I found Paul Mescal to be great, Paul Pascal to be great, Denzel Washington to be great. Great story here. The third act, just like so many movies in my top 20, doesn't hit as hard as the rest of the movie, but just with great, phenomenal action sequences, a unique story where like there's layers to here to where like you're not specifically rooting for one simple person. Where in the first one, you're just kind of like, yeah, screw the Roman army. You want to see Russell Crowe kill these guys. And no, Paul's not Pedro's dad. They're not related. But you just want to see them kill these guys. In this one, you like Paul Pascal's character, and you like Paul Mescal's character, and they're just kind of like have these unique layers in the film that added a little bit to it. Would be much higher. Again, 15 is really high, but would be in my top 10 if the third act hit as hard. But even like the final action sequence with Denzel Washington and Paul Mescal was really, really good. So great action sequences in this film. 14, Alien Romulus. This was a film that I finally got me to watch the Alien films. One of my favorites in this franchise. I feel like everything with the aliens in this film is great. Horror stuff, thrilling stuff, scary stuff with the aliens. The overall sequence where like the acid blood is going everywhere. Great stuff there. Some of the best stuff that we've seen inside the Alien franchise. when I saw it in theaters, I found that the overall the thing that in the end, the big creepy whatchamacallit, the hybrid didn't really work as much as the rest of the film. And again, rewatching it, didn't really think it worked as much. Felt like the movie kind of ended off in a perfect spot. Felt like we could have done like the Isabella Merced injecting herself and something like that earlier in the film, kind of made it about 20 minutes shorter, but I did still really enjoy this film. It has some of the best stuff in the Alien franchise with a great cast. David Johnson, phenomenal in this film. One of the best actors in this film. Kaylee Spaney has having a great year. We got a couple more movies of hers coming up in a couple minutes that I'm going to talk about. So she's having a great year. Isabella Merced is fantastic. So just an overall great cast as well. 13, speaking of great cast, Nosferatu. Taking a drink real quick, and we'll talk about Nosferatu. Now, I get that I've said in my original review that this film was definitely a unique story, and I get that it's the same story as the rest of the movies, but I've never seen a Nosferatu movie before, so this was my first Sean New Year's happy. I'm happy too, man. Great New Year so far. Why did that hurt? That doesn't hurt. Come on, be a man, Zach. Anyways, Nosferatu. What were we talking about this movie? Oh yeah, for me, it had a very unique story, had a very interesting story, and I thought it really worked for me. Great cast here. Willem Dafoe is phenomenal. Nicholas Hoult is great. Lily Rose Depp kills it in this movie. She's great, but Bill Skarsgård as Nosferatu, phenomenal. Very creepy moments. The shot of Nosferatu's hand going over the city is my favorite shot probably of any movie this year so far. So I really dug this film. My friends, my OK Tablet YouTube watch. I don't know what that means. Sorry. Anyways, my two friends I went with, my best friend said that he hated the movie and it kind of grew on him besides that final sequence, which the final sequence, the way they killed Nosferatu, I was a little bit mixed on, but like I thought it was good, but I also thought it was like kind of weird and kind of wish they did it a different way. But like my two friends weren't the biggest fans of this film. It's not for everybody. It's mainly for horror freaks like me or people that are always constantly looking for something unique. But I love Nosferatu. I can't deny that I really loved this film. There were definitely some draggy moments, though, but I did still really like it. Number 12, M. Night Shyamalan's new film, which is really weird because I don't like M. Night Shyamalan, Trap. I found Trap to be a really good, really thrilling film. Josh Hartnett is great in the film. I get that people are saying you have to extend your belief to really like this movie. I extended my belief. I really like this movie. Thought Josh Hartnett was great in the film. The third act is completely thrilling where you really do not know what is going to happen inside this movie whatsoever. And so as someone who does not like M. Night Shyamalan a lot, his last couple of movies, Knock at the Cabin, Trap, those are my top two of his movies. I think those movies are great. Yeah, Sean, we good. We friends, man. Anyways, and so he just kills it with this movie with just really unique story while also being thrilling throughout the entire movie. And Trap is a movie I loved. Number 11, the final movie we're going to talk about before I enter my top 10 of the year of 2024. Number 11, and just got kicked out of my top 10. Tablet call, Sean, okay? Yeah, I don't know who Sean is, so he's kind of saying a couple weird things in the chat, so I'm just going to have to hide him from the channel. Sorry, Sean, but it's kind of weird. Saying some weird stuff. Number 11. Number 11 is Civil War. Just got kicked out of my top 10 of the last 2024 movie I saw. I think this movie was really, really great. I thought Civil War was phenomenal. We don't have any viewers now. Apparently everyone left. Anywho, Civil War was phenomenal. It's able to not piss anybody off. Are you talking about Civil War when you say it was horrible, Jackson? What is up with you, bro? Civil War is great. Civil War is great. It's able to not piss anybody off. Where people are like, it's an election year, you could totally piss people off with a movie about a civil war, but you decide to take it on through journalism, which was really unique and a really interesting aspect of the film. The cast is great. Kaylee Spanning, like we just mentioned with Alien Romulus, phenomenal in this film. The rest of the cast is really, really good in this film. Kirsten Dunst, great. But the overall movie finds a way not to piss anybody off. You have these intense sequences, whether it's the sequence with Jesse Plemons. Yeah, that's his name. I remember the name this time. Sequence with Jesse Plemons. Or you got the one sequence where, like, who are you shooting at? The guy who's trying to shoot me. And I do kind of agree with Jackson. I used to hate this ending of the film. I used to say, like, that kind of left me off at a bad taste in my mouth. But rewatching it, I kind of like, oh, I realized so much more about this film. I realized so much more of the ideas they have. The sound design in this film should definitely win an Oscar. I think that the sound design was some of the best sound design that we've had. Excuse me. Best sound design that we've had in a long time in a film like, I'm getting burps now. In a film like this. So the sound design is great. The cast is great. Story is great. More unique film. Wanted this to be my top 10, but it just got kicked out. All right, entering my top 10. We're finally here. My voice is going away. But I'll answer some questions. Anybody got any questions before we talk about my top 10 movies of 2024? I'm going to stand up real quick, though. Stand up real quick. Stretch my legs a little bit. Oh, that feels good. Feels good. Get that stretch in there. Woo! And hey, guys, for you guys watching, whoa, that's kind of neat. I didn't know. Hey, I just found out something cool about my tripod. For you guys watching, stay tuned for my best worst movies of 2024 video. That video itself is mainly just going to be like best comic book movie, worst comic book movie, like best streaming movie, worst streaming movie, best horror movie. You'll see it when it comes out. Stay tuned for that. And then Creature Commander's review. I'm probably going to watch the season finale once I get done here, and then probably film a review later today and get it out there for you guys. All right. Stretching my legs, and I'll sit down, check questions. If anybody's got any questions, movie or TV show related. Woo! You guys ready for something? Jump scare! Oh shoot, that was horrible. Crooked Man from Conjuring 2. Not that bad, boy. Just got to get some blood pumping through these legs, baby. It's been a fun video, guys. I really appreciate everyone who has checked this out, whether it was live or whether you guys are checking it out on the archive video. I really appreciate all you guys. And, 2024 was a phenomenal year for my channel. We had, I think, 151 subscribers at the beginning of the year. We grew by over 100 subscribers, which is not a whole lot, but we're growing, man. We are. And I fully believe we can get to maybe 500 if we keep growing at this pace, if we keep trying, because it didn't start growing till like the middle of last year. So I believe we can do it, guys. I really do. I appreciate everyone who has subscribed. Really do. And I'm going to sit back down. Got blood pumping to the legs. We're good. We're good. Okay, so I don't have any questions right now. And apparently we're supposed to have more snow tonight. Any questions? We'll give it another minute. Any questions? All right, tell you what. I'm going to go run to the restroom. And when I come back, we'll do my top 10 of 2024. I'll be right back. I'm back. Oh, why did I shut the door? No fresh air in here, man. He's back. We don't have any more questions, which means right now we're going to dive. Let me plug my phone up real quick into the top 10 movies of 2024. Here we go. Number 10, which was the most recent movie I've seen in 2024. Challengers. This was a movie that I didn't know how I was going to respond to it because I've never seen a Luca Guadagnino. I hope I'm saying his last name right. Never seen one of his movies in my life before. I've always wanted to see one of his movies. This is the one that I've started with. For me, I didn't know how I was going to respond to it because, like, tennis is one of the most boring sports out there. I've heard it's got, like, a bunch of gay scenes in the movie. So I was like, yeah, I don't know if this one will be for me, but I'll check it out. It was for me. It was great. This movie was really, really, really good. And there's only like one gay kiss in the movie, so there's that. But anywho, I'm not homophobic or anything. I'm just saying, as a Christian, I don't really want to watch that. Anywho, this movie's phenomenal. It's able to make tennis look cool, look really cool. Able to keep me invested throughout the entire 2-hour and 11-minute runtime, which is very hard to do. To where there is not a single sequence that is boring throughout this entire movie. The story is basically just a mind games played by Zendaya, where like you don't really know what her goal is. And Zendaya is great in this movie. She acts phenomenally well. Everybody else is great in this movie as well. But it's intense in that aspect. It's interesting. It's told in a way that is very, very good, where like it's not told in direct order. Like we keep darting back and forth between things, and the more we learn, the more that third act hits hard. It is a great movie. It is a phenomenal movie. I absolutely love Challengers. And as not a tennis fan, this is one of my favorite movies of 2024. Thought it was phenomenal. Number 9, Sonic 3. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I'm taking a drink. Oh, no. Oh, no. Almost out. I'm almost out. Sonic 3. Crazy good movie. Crazy good movie. Absolutely adored this film. For me, I didn't grow up playing the Sonic games, but I saw the first movie when I was like 13. That's when I started my channel. I saw the second movie in 2022. Wasn't a huge fan of that one, but I did like it. Knuckles was not very good. So I had a lot of hope into this one. I love the trailers. I love Shadow. This movie is absolutely perfect. From the very beginning, it's a nonstop joyride, nonstop thriller. Not really thriller, but it is thrilling moments where there are some phenomenal action sequences. Keanu Reeves' Shadow is great. The chemistry between the three main characters, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, is phenomenal. The emotional story with Shadow is absolutely great. I did shed a tear watching this movie. 2 Jim Carreys are definitely better than 1. The last 45 minutes of the film go crazy. I mean, this overall is a movie that it's Sonic the Hedgehog, but you feel stakes. You believe that characters you love die. And then there's a huge action sequences in the end that made me, who's not the biggest Sonic fan, freak out my seat. The last the mid-credit scene, post-credit scene got me jumping up and down like, oh my God, we're going there. And we are going there. And I cannot wait for Sonic 4. This was the movie that I sat in my seat for like 5 minutes after, like, oh my gosh, I was so giddy after watching this movie. I thought it was great. One of my favorite movies of the year. Number 8, another movie that I clapped every time I saw it, which is crazy because I saw it 3 times. Deadpool and Wolverine, the brand new Deadpool movie. It's able to kind of make fun of the Fox Marvel movies while also respecting them, where we're bringing back all these cameos. Every single cameo is clap-worthy. Channing Tatum, again, like I said, not really an actor I love, but he was phenomenal as Gambit in here. And as Gambit, my favorite X-Men character, proves that he wouldn't have been a good Gambit, but it's hilarious in this movie. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is not the same Wolverine as in the original movies, but he is phenomenal in here, has that heart. The film has heart. The film has soul. It has its emotional moments at times, but the overall story isn't about, it isn't great. The overall story isn't great. It's very like wonky, but you're not here for the story. You're here for the chemistry between Deadpool and Wolverine, for the cameos. Saw this movie 4 times, 3 times in the theater. Loved it every single time I watched this movie. It's definitely up here on 2024's best. Number 7, Long Legs, one of the scariest movies of the year so far. And I think it's scary because as a Christian, I believe in demons. I believe in the devil stuff. And so for me, the devil stuff really freaks me out in this film. And it is great. Nicolas Cage gives a haunting performance. The film's always shot like this. See how I'm like at the center of the screen? Like you have all this empty space around you. You're constantly looking around thinking that, oh, he's going to pop up. Nicolas Cage is going to pop up everywhere. The third act goes absolutely crazy hard when all the reveals happen. It's great. Micah Monroe, phenomenal in this film as well. This is just the horror movie out of 2024. It's not my favorite horror movie of 2024, but it is the scariest out of them all. And that's why it's number 7 of the year. Number 6, and to answer, who said it earlier? I guess I can't scroll up in the chat. I think it was, crap, why can't I remember his name? Slug MLG. Slug MLG, to answer his question, where's Terrifier 3? Here it is. Oh, there we go. I fixed it. Terrifier 3 is number 6. This was the first film in the Terrifier franchise I watched, so I didn't know what to expect out of it other than Art the Clown is freaky as heck. First sequence was chilling. I was like on the edge of my seat, like, oh, I can't watch. And then from then on was almost made it to 5. What do you mean? I don't know what that means, Jackson. Anyways, found this film to just have such a good atmosphere. It's shot in a unique way, like top 5. Yep, almost to the top 5. It's very shot in a unique way where like it feels like one of those old movies. It's got all the gore, all the awesome stuff you love. It has a classic Christmas feel vibe. David Howard Thorne as Art the Clown is great. It has all this lore, the stuff that I had issues with in part 2. I thought this film really fixed all of them, added a lot to the lore, really unique in there. The kills are very gory, very great. And the third act is awesome. I cannot wait for Terrifier 4. I love Terrifier 3. And my brother got me the 4K steelbook of the film. So shout out to him. I need to rewatch that one soon. Number 5, kicking off my top 5 favorite movies of 2024. we got my favorite horror movie of 2024. I'm gonna take a drink first, and then I'll announce it. Giving you guys a little anticipation. Number 5, Smile 2. This was a great movie. Wasn't expecting a lot out of it because I still haven't seen the original Smile, but I didn't know what to expect out of it. And this movie is just something that I love. It's everything that I wanted it to be. Where like from the very beginning, they're just playing mind games with our main character, who Naomi Scott is brilliant in this role. She's phenomenal in here. Very thrilling sequences. And you're just playing mind games. We're like, it goes hard in the middle of the film. And then by the time we get to the third act, you like realize you don't know what's real. You don't know what's actually happening. It's great. And it's terrifying. The third act is terrifying. My brother actually got genuinely terrified of this movie. Like that final couple sequences were great. At the edge of my seat stuff. Absolutely adored. I adored Smile 2. Cannot wait for Smile 3. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with the film. Number 4, Inside Out 2. This is a film that everyone needs to see. It depicts all the emotions great, and every aspect that the first movie worked. I don't think this film has the emotional punch that one does. It doesn't have its, what everybody's calling the bing bong moment, but it still really does pack the punch. We're like, as you grow older, you get those emotions with anxiety, embarrassment, all those emotions that add to it. And like anxiety really represented perfect in this film. I think these Inside Out movies are every film that everyone needs to see. I saw it twice in a theater. I loved it each time. The final scene of the anxiety attack is great. Well, I don't think the movie had... what was I going to say? Kind of lost. I was going to say something about the Bing Bong moment again. Well, the movie, again, doesn't have that emotional core, the emotional Bing Bong moment to it. I don't think this one's overall better than the first one, just because of the themes it represents, and it's able to jump up to number 4 of 2024. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is number 3. I am a huge Planet of the Apes guy. I love that trilogy that we just got, and now we're getting a brand new trilogy of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This movie is really unique where, again, it's with the characters. Each individual character has its own motive. We're like with Noah, he wants to help the apes, but he also wants to help the human. With the human, she wants to help the apes, but she also wants to help the human. Even Proximus Caesar, like he's kind of taking what Caesar did, Caesar's words, but he's representing that in a completely wrong way. It's just a very unique and very interesting film, especially for the Planet of the Apes franchise. Very different. It took a while for me to get invested into it because like the characters aren't from that original trilogy, but I saw it back-to-back days in the theater, loved it each time. One of my favorite movies of 2024. It is definitely going to spark start of a trilogy that I cannot wait for. Number 2, my second favorite movie of the year. Wanted to have this at number 1 so bad because I loved it. When I saw it all the way back in March, it's Dune Part 2. The movie was great. This movie was phenomenal. My favorite Denis Villeneuve movie, I think. Denis Villeneuve is a phenomenal director. He's able to take us to Arrakis, put us inside of this world that looks the cinematography is phenomenal. The action sequences are great. I was not the hugest fan of that first one, and this movie just adds to every single thing that first movie did with a unique story, unique world building moments. The film looks phenomenal, and just that third act was thrilling. Austin Butler kills it in this movie. One of the best performances of the year so far. I've seen this one numerous times at home, and I'm just taken aback every time I see this movie by how phenomenal it is. And I wish I could put it number 1 so bad. I adore this movie. My number 1, I had to do it. I just had to do it just because of the themes it represents and how much I was in tears by the end of the film. Number 1, I'm going with The Wild Robot. Man, The Wild Robot was great. From the very beginning of the movie, you have themes about motherhood, about children, those themes that you have there. I'm not a mother. I'll never be a mother, obviously, for almost the obvious reasons, but I'll be a parent someday, but I'm not a parent now. But it still hits just as hard like that with the themes. The score was phenomenal. The animation was brilliant. The film never has a dull moment. It is just emotional from start to finish. That I was in tears by the end of the film. That's the themes it represents, and that it's just the themes that really had to push it above. It really pushed it above the original. Not above, really pushed it above Dune Part 2. Where Dune Part 2 is a movie I revisit quite often. This movie, just the themes and the way it made me sob my eyes out at the end of it. Love that movie. 76 movies talked about. 76 movies talked about. And we're done. We're done with another year. I didn't see every movie I wanted to see, obviously. So there's still movies that are out there that I'm going to see in that release in 2024. But another year, one of the best years, I'd say probably the best year of my life or of this channel. And it's over. Like, we've had some phenomenal movies. I'm going to screen share real quick. Are you going to try to watch more movies this year? Well, let me share my screen real quick. Okay, let me get out of this. Dude, what the heck, bro? I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. Jackson, you said the screen was dark earlier. Can you see it this time? Okay, so you can see it. You can see it, right? So let me know in the chat if you can see it. Okay. So, like, I think it would be in 3. Wait, did you guys see 2023? I think I've seen more movies in 2023 than I did this year. But 2023 was the best year of movies of this decade so far. It was one of the best, if not the best. No, it was the best. I've seen 80 films last year. Like, I've seen significantly less. And so while it feels like I was going to see a bunch of movies this year, it genuinely felt like I've seen more than 76. But I've only seen 76. So yes, I do intend on watching more movies next year. I really do appreciate everyone to come watch this stream. Shout out Jackson Smith. I think he was here the whole stream. So I really do appreciate you, man, watching this stream. Really do appreciate that. So, yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you for another great year. Jim Milton, what's up? Man, you're just a little bit late. Just a little bit late. But shout out to Jim Milton. Streams got over. We ranked all the movies. So, again, phenomenal year for the channel. I really appreciate all of you guys who are subscribed, who joined the channel. If you're not subscribed, rude. I'm not being rude, man. I'm sorry. Sorry if it came off that way. No, but I'm about to end the stream here, so I will put it on archive so you can watch the live stream replay. But shout out to everybody who is subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it if you guys did subscribe. Trying to hit 500 by the end of this year, which is not the biggest number, but it's great. And here's to a great 2025. Thank you guys so much. And with that said, like I say at every end of the video, subscribe to join that army. Peace out. Smith, have a good day. Thanks, Jackson. I won't, but I'll try.